Right. Okay. Perfect, guys. Sorry about the whole. My laptop got off. It just got off. I think my battery something would have happened. Right. Okay. So, regardless of that, right. Okay. That will be. What was the last thing I was saying, guys? Anyone remembers last thing that I was saying? I don't know what happened when I went off, but last thing that I was saying. Can't remember. Okay. No. Okay. So we'll get in the next question. Okay. Okay. We'll get into question 4 then. Lightning hit me. No, lightning did not hit me actually. Uh, I just off my laptop was not on charge. I used to be on charge all the time. It was not on charge because it was thundering. All of a sudden it got off. Right. Okay. Let's proceed on that boy. Yeah. Make sure that you don't go there. Okay. So we'll go into question number 4. Right. Question 4. Okay. Again, are all points on the production possibility front tire equal in terms of economic efficiency, guys? Yes or no? Again, what are the conditions? I would have explained this in an MCQ also, right? For you to have economic efficiency, what are the 2 conditions that you need to have to get to be economically efficient? To have economic efficiency, you need to have productive efficiency and you need to have allocative efficiency. Right. So then in order to become productively efficient, what are the 2 conditions? You need to have full employment and full production. So I taught this in an MCQ, guys. I'm not going to go into detail, right? Then if you want to have allocative efficiency, what do you need to have? Your condition is your marginal benefit has to equal to your marginal cost, right? So in other words, marginal benefit, you can also replace this with price, has to equal to your marginal cost, right? So in this context, guys, now if you achieve productive efficiency, where will you be operating? Productive efficiency, you will be operating on the PPC, right? So any point on the PPC. But then if you're looking at economic efficiency, is it any point on the PPC or is it just one specific point? Economic efficiency, it's one specific point, right? One particular point. Yeah, one specific point. So how does this work? Is how can you draw this and explain using a diagram, right? So I'll draw the complex diagram here, right? So you have the normal PPC. Okay, I'll nicely. You have a PPC, right? So if you're operating on the PPC, right? If you're operating on the PPC, any point on the PPC is productively efficient. Now, in this question, they are saying, right? Are all points on the production possibility front tire equal in terms of economic efficiency? Does all points on the PPC show that there is economic efficiency? Yes or no? No, right? Only one specific point. Then how do you structure your answer now? Your answer is just simply no. No, right? So your answer has to be, you start off with explaining this. You start off with explaining productive efficiency, right? So you say productive efficiency is this. You need these 2 conditions, full employment, full production, right? You explain the story, right? And then say, if an economy has achieved productive efficiency, it will operate at any point on the PPC. At any point on the PPC, it will operate with productive efficiency. Okay. So then say, in order to achieve economic efficiency, right, the economy has to achieve productive efficiency plus allocative efficiency. So you can draw the diagram, guys. For allocative efficiency, I don't know how many of your teachers would have taught you. I'm pretty sure they would have, right? To draw the diagram, the 2 diagrams connecting to this, right? So the marginal benefit curve downward sloping, marginal cost curve upward sloping. Benefit downward, cost upward. So based on where this intersects, right? Let's say it goes to this point and this intersects. Okay. My diagram is a little bad, don't worry, right? So only this point, right, this particular point. So you can draw a diagram, you can label, right? So you label your points, guys, say A, B, C, D, right? You explain the answer, right? So you can say point A, there is point B, C, D, E. So all these points, A, B, C, D, and E, all of them are productively efficient, right? But okay, so in these two curves, guys, this is the marginal cost, this is the marginal benefit, right? This is marginal cost, this is marginal benefit. So this is, let's say, good X, right? So this is the graph for good X, this is good Y, this is the graph for good Y. Okay, so you can say point A, B, C, D, and E, all the points are productively efficient, right? Yes, you can draw one diagram also, no problem, right? All of these points are productively efficient. So that means they're on the PPC. However, for economic efficiency, you also have to meet the condition of allocative efficiency. Only productive efficiency and allocative efficiency both are met. Only then you are economically efficient. So then you can say, according to the graph below, right, or the graph above, right, point B, right, is the point where you have both productive efficiency and allocative efficiency, where marginal cost, marginal benefit, that condition is also met. So you explain that using a diagram. So ideally, guys, for your diagram, you will get around 1 mark, right? You will get around 1.5 marks for talking about productive efficiency and talking about this PPC, right? Operating on the PPC is productive efficiency, right? And then you get another 1.5 marks talking about allocative efficiency, that all the conditions have to be met, and giving that explanation. Marks can change a little here and there, but somewhere roughly around here, 1.5. Yeah, so probably 3 marks for your explanation, right? Saying that you know all of this, and then 1 mark for this, right? For the diagram. Ideally, guys, you will have to have a diagram, guys. So because they are talking about a PPC, you know, right? So I would give you marks for diagram also. So along the PPC to explain that part, I will give you a mark for diagram. I'm guessing, just check the A-level paper, actual paper, have they given marks for diagram? It's easy when you have a diagram, right? So add a diagram, guys. You're not going to lose anything. Add and explain. Okay, so that's good. Are we fine, guys? Are we okay with this? So you say no, and then you explain your answer. Step. All points on the PPC equal in terms of economic efficiency. Anyone questions? Which lesson am I doing in class? In class, I've actually finished my theory and revision class. So I finished the entire syllabus. I don't know if I'm too quick or not. Okay, just another random survey, guys. Others, whoever who is going for other economic classes and all of it, guys, have you all done? Are you all done with the syllabus? Yes, your econ syllabus, theory, revision class. I don't know whatever class that you're going to. Is it done, or which unit are you? Not in school. I know schools are very behind, right? But in your tuition class that you're going. Okay, school 10. Others, like where are you all? Are you all at least somewhere around in 10, 11, 12? You should be okay. Okay, no, because I'm wondering if I was too fast, but I anyway finished the syllabus off. I finished it off in March. I had a little bit parts to finish off in April also. So I finished the syllabus twice with my students. Theory is done, revision is done. So now from May onwards, there is like a fast track program that I will start. That is where we do the hardest of areas in each unit and the hardest of questions. So that anyone is free to join, guys. You all can also join. A lot of people have actually asked me information, but I have not really replied to a lot of messages. I'll get there. I will open registrations also very soon. So that will start in May. I'm probably looking at May, when the second week I was looking at May to start from May 9th. That was the date that I was looking at. I'll open registrations. So if any of you are interested, you all could join that. But that is going to be a lot of revision paper was not that hard. Your fast track papers will be even harder, but that will be okay, manageable. Don't worry. Right. Okay, I feel bad for those who would have messed up your revision paper, but it wasn't that hard, guys. It was an okay paper, right? That you all did yesterday and day before. That was just to see where you all stand. If you all were overestimating yourself and being a little too confident about you, now you know where you stand, right? So, what? That will start in May. I'll give you all information. But yeah, generally for all the others also, right? In general, but my personal recommendation is in your school, your last term is in March, no? So teachers have to finish syllabus by then, right? So you have to finish your syllabus by then. Then until March. Now, usually how it works in schools also, guys. After March, you don't go to school, no, usually. right? That's how it works in our time. So by March, right, you finish the syllabus. That is what I also do in theory and revision class. I finish syllabus by March, and then there is a term exam that you do in March, right? That is after finishing the syllabus in school, you'll do a term exam in March. I don't know how many of your schools did, right? So that term exam, you can assess where you really are and what you really need to do for the next 4-5 months, right? So that's the same pattern that I am following. I don't drag the theory and the revision classes until the very end, because come on, student also has to study the same thing around. You do it around 3-4 times, it goes more into your head. That's why I do that. There can be pros and cons, but yeah. Okay, done with this. We go with 5. Part 2, which part is easy? Usually students find in the paper 2, they find part A easy, the grade 12 syllabus. Why? Because they have studied the grade 12 syllabus more than the grade 13 syllabus. But the grade 13 syllabus questions also not that hard. They've studied grade 12 more, because even when I was doing A levels, I was more confident with the part A question, the first 5. Okay, right. This one, it's a good question, right? Our market economy is necessarily capitalist. Our command economy is necessarily socialist. Explain your answer. Yes or no, first of all? Does a market economy always have to be a capitalist economy? Does a command economy always have to be a socialist economy? No, but usually it is. Now, what is this whole difference, guys? Right? Now, in one part of your unit, right, you check your tutor, whoever who taught you all would have studied something called classifying economic system. Yeah. There are 3 criteria, guys. What are the 3 criteria to classify economic system? Anyone remembers? It's a little bit of a odd area which most of you all don't know. The 3 criteria. Okay. The decision making mechanism. That's one criteria. Okay. Then, okay, based on the ownership of resources, right? You have another, and then based on the incentives, right? So based on the incentives used. Okay. So then okay, what are the 2 decision-making criteria you have? What are the mechanisms? You have the price mechanism, okay, and you have the planning mechanism. So economic system that uses the what? That uses the price mechanism is called market economy. Economy that uses the planning mechanism is called a command economy, or you can call it a planned economy, right? Planned economy, or you can say a command economy. Okay. Then based on ownership of resources, an economy that has private ownership is called exactly. It's not called a market economy as the correct term. It's called a capitalist economy. It's called a capitalist economy. An economy that has public ownership. That's called public ownership. This is called a socialist economy, right? So now in general, this is how it works. Listen very carefully, right? So in general, guys, right? In general, if a economy uses price mechanism, generally there is private ownership, right? So generally, right, that is why, you know, market economy, capitalist economy, we talk about the same features. So generally, if they use price mechanism, there is private ownership. And also, generally, if they use the planning mechanism, it's public ownership, right? But does it always have to be this way? No, right? That is what they are. They are asking, are market economies necessarily capitalist? Should all market economies, right? A market economy, should it necessarily be a capitalist? No, right? A market economy could be a socialist also. No problem. Usually, yes, capitalist, right? But see, they're using the word. See what the word they're using? They're using necessarily, right? So there can be. So you say, right? So you talk about this. How you can answer your question is, you say economic systems are classified based on, maybe you can omit the third criteria also. You can say based on the first criteria, that is a decision coordinating mechanism. So based on that, if the economy uses price mechanism, it's a market economy. If it uses the planning mechanism, it's a planned or a command economy. Then second criteria is the ownership of resources. So then if it has private ownership, it's a capitalist. If it has public ownership, it's a socialist. So you can say a market economy, right, which uses price mechanism could either, right, have private ownership or public ownership. In other words, a market economy could either be a capitalist or could either be a socialist. Necessarily no. Usually yes, right? But see, they are asking the word necessarily. Necessarily means compulsory, definitely. Is definitely a market economy a capitalist economy? No. It can either be a private or a public this ownership, either a capitalist or a socialist. Same thing here, right? If you talk about a command economy, right? Now, command economy also usually, right? Usually a command economy you has public ownership, right? So usually a command economy is a socialist economy. But is it necessarily a socialist economy? No, right? So a command economy also, right, could have private ownership if you want. So it could either might be a capitalist or might be a socialist. That is what you have to explain. So you have to show how these economic systems are classified, and you have to say it's not necessarily this. It could either be capitalist or it could be socialist. So you have to say based on this solely they classify capitalist, socialist. Based on this solely they say market command, right? So if you can give those conditions and if you can write your answer, it's perfectly fine. So read through your answer, scheme answer as well, and with what I'm explaining, guys, you write your answer. Right now, most of you all would have already written an answer, right? Maybe your answer is not correct. So in a red pen or whatever, right? You rewrite your answer, guys. The more you write and more you practice, the more easier it's going to get, right? So that's how it is. Social market and socialist market, I'm guessing you're referring to those. There's a difference. Social market economy, socialist market economy, that's a different thing. That's a part of mixed economy. We'll talk about that when we get a question there. Let's do that. There is no part into this. Is this question okay, guys? It's a little bit of a tough question, but it's usually in every question, guys, if you'll realize that if you look at your A-level paper, right, from the 5 questions, 1 question is going to be a little hard. You can't expect everything to be easy, you know? But sometimes all questions are easy. Sometimes 1 or 2 parts are hard. So in this paper, the hard one is this way. This is the hard one, right? So a lot of people would have not got this one. Even you all now, some of you all are lost, right? Is there something, is this the first time that you all are hearing this? No? At least be genuine to me and let me know. Traditional and mixed, no, not the same. Class will be over by around 11:30. Is classifying economic systems, decision-making mechanism, ownership, first time. Go and check whatever tutes that you studied. Whoever the teacher would have taught you all that case. It's definitely there. In my tute, it's definitely there. And whoever else also taught you will definitely be there. This is a little bit of an important part. You can't omit that like that. Right? So it will definitely be there. So based on this only, after that, in general, we say market, command, and mixed. Yeah. So check. Okay. Right. Done. Any questions, guys? Anyone had? Any question came, can you resend it? Because whatever question that came, it would have gone like very, very up. No questions, fine. These are things that you can read. More things that you can read, guys, is check on the internet also, right? Read things on the internet, guys. The broader your knowledge is, the better you can write answers. The better you'll understand your concepts. It will be more interesting. Don't just memorize, and go and write. Okay, done. So 2015 is done. And again, guys, so your marks would have come with explaining the what classification, and then writing that how you get your marks. Okay. Then we move on to 2016. Now 2016 A levels, they had 2 questions from unit number 1, like a bonus. There's a huge question. Hold on. They're asking us to explain, right? So stating or briefly giving out that it might be this or that. No, you don't have to give the situation. You can explain the criteria. You can say, based on this solely, it's market and this thing. Based on this solely, it's this and this. So therefore, there can be a market economy that could either be this or this, right? There can be a command economy that could either be this or this. So when you explain the criteria alone, the thing gets covered up, right? Now the criteria don't just write points like I said, right? You say based on the decision coordination mechanism, you can classify it this way. If they use price mechanism, then it's a this thing. If they use this one, then it's a this thing, right? So you write a paragraph, yeah, and then you can put in your answer, right? Those things have to come. Class will end somewhere around 11:30. Is that too late? Because I had another class until around 9 guys, so I started 9:30. My 2023, I have a small class with around 2 people. Yeah, that's fine. At the institute, I'm trying to combine that with my normal one. Okay, right. 2016, question 1. So, what are the 4 categories of economic resources? Give an example. Come on, guys. I don't think that's a question that I should explain. What can you help you? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and how are you going to give examples? Examples? How are the examples going to come up? Okay, for land, okay, forest, okay, fine. Fish, labor, capital, okay, machines, fine. Labor, okay, so you can say, okay, okay, some, okay, example, you can say, let's say, for example, you can say, yes, we're only doing unit 1 question, please. Okay, so you can say a farmer in a farm or something like that, okay, fine, right? Or you can say a mason who is building or carpenter or, okay, something, fine. For entrepreneur, example, what are you going to give? Yes, you can say owner of a business. Can you just check what the marking scheme says? I can't remember what exactly. You can say, so yeah, you can say owner of a business. Maybe you can even give a real name also by saying, someone like this. Anyone has the listing? The marking scheme says McDonald's owner. I'm just saying, what does the marking scheme say? It's all interrelated. Okay, they have given one firm. Okay. Yes, you can say manager this. Yeah. So I would say we don't have to explain what economic features. No, they're asking what no. See, the word is what no. Like if they say explain the 4 economic resources, then yes, they're simply asking what. So for writing land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, you'll get 2 marks. For writing an example each, you'll get 2 marks. Usually the first question is an easy question, guys. So when they say what, now I know you all know a lot about land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Don't go and write, guys. You're not going to get marks. Yeah. Okay. Opening of a new seafood market. Okay, fine. It's someone who owns thing or something like that. Okay, so you can come. That answer would have not been a very strict answer, guys. You can, in general, if you have made sense, they would have given you marks. Okay. Right. Then again, second one is also a very easy one. Coming into this case. What's this? In what ways does a free market differ from a centrally planned economic system? Free market differ from a centrally planned? How? Okay. Based on decision coordination mechanism. So guys, now again here also, right? When you're writing your answer, don't, for God's sake, don't draw a table. Don't say free market, centrally planned. This is private ownership, public ownership. This one. No, right? You're not writing O-level answers now. Don't do this, right? Details about classes, guys, text me. I will show you how to check. Okay? Don't do it in the table format, right? So ideally, what you can do here is, right? Remember, you're not writing O-level answers now, right? So don't, for God's sake, don't, right? So how you can give your point is like this. I'll just write 1 point, right? Just check this thing, just check the A-level marking scheme. Is it on a table format? I'm pretty sure it's not. You don't have my number. If you're on the group, you should have my number, right? I'm the admin of the group. I'm the one who sent you the link to this class. Okay, you come. Okay, I'll send my number. Okay, my number 77 077 0566 014. That's one. Okay. Right. So okay. Right. Okay. Past paper again. Is that the original marking scheme or is that this one? Okay, I'll generally tell you how you write answers, right? Now here, okay. Now the word differ is there since usually it's like this. Right? In your A-level paper, listen carefully, right? Your answer scheme. If they say differentiate, right? And then they will ask you distinguish. Okay. There is two things: distinguish and differentiate. Now, usually in your A-level paper, this differentiate doesn't come. Now, if they tell differentiate, then you drawing a table and explaining is acceptable. But still, it's a little bit of a baby thing. But usually, right, if you see your A-level paper, right, it's not differentiate. They use the word distinguish. Distinguish between this and that. So when they use the word distinguish, guys, don't go with the table, right? Don't go with the table. You're not a baby anymore. So how do you write your point, right? I'll show you a simple thing, right? So you can say, right? Now, okay, you start off with, okay, one difference you know is based on recent coordination mechanism. So you can say in market economy, the decisions are made based on price mechanism, while a command economy, right, uses the planning mechanism to make its decisions. So decisions are what to produce, how to produce, who. This is one point, guys. So 4 points like this is what you have to give, right? So when they ask you to show the difference, right? So this is 1 point. This is only going to give you 1 mark, right? So apart from that, you can say, okay, in a free market economy, resources are owned by the private sector, while in a command economy, the resources are owned by the public sector. Then you can say, in a free market economy, you can say, okay, there's high levels of competition, while in a market economy, there is not much. Free market economy, consumer sovereignty, right? Command economy, there is no such things, there is no freedom, right? So likewise, guys, you connect your points, right? And you write 4 points like that. So this is just 1 point of an example. Don't give it as a table. That's a very babyish way to answer the question, guys. That doesn't give a proper, the moment the examiner sees that, he knows it's not the ideal thing. Yeah, if you want, you can define it also, but you will not get marks for defining. So your 4 marks will be 4 solid points like this. But here now, given that they have used the word differ, it's somewhat okay to use the table, but I will still recommend this. But usually in your A-level papers, you see this differences question, they don't use the word differ, they use the word distinguish. So when they use the word distinguish, right, you don't give this, right? So in this, yes, I think the marking scheme would have maybe gone with a table because the word differ is there, but this is a better way to answer that. And that also, I don't know if it's, just check if it's the original marking scheme or is it this thing, right? Original marking scheme gone with the table means then it's okay because the word differ, but generally distinguish, go with the paragraph. Don't go and give points. Okay. Check. Fine. Yes, I don't want to have to tell you the differences, right? I will, okay. Can you give me the differences? Okay, one, price mechanism, planning mechanism, public ownership, private ownership. What else? What else can you give as differences? You can talk about the competition. Original market scheme is a little bit sometimes hard to find, guys. Some are there on the internet though. Okay, incentive. Okay, you can say they are profit motivated. These people are social welfare, right? Self-interest and social welfare, right? There is consumer freedom in a market economy. Not much of freedom there, right? What else? So those main points I think should be enough, right? So 4 points, guys. You don't have to go in too much, right? So maybe write a 5th point if you're not sure of one of your points. Yeah, that's more than enough. Okay, that's about that. Then, okay, going into this question number 3. Why is money not considered to be capital in economics? Why is money not capital? We have explained this before, right? Money is not capital because I think I explained. Did I explain this on MCQ? Yes. Because if I did, I'm not going to go much in detail. Exactly, right? It's not a productive resource, right? So we say what? capital in economics are productive resources, right? Capital in economics are productive resources that aid in the production process. For example, machines that help you convert inputs into outputs. But does money do that? Is money a productive resource that helps you convert inputs into outputs or produce another good? No, money does not do that. Money is simply a medium of exchange that will help you to get capital if you want, right? With money, you can buy machines, you can buy a building, yeah, right? So money itself is not a productive resource. Now, this question, guys, is a little bit right, a little bit hard to drag for 4 marks, though, right? You might wonder, so what do I have that much to write? So you can start off with this. You can start off with defining what is capital, right? So you can say capital in economics are the productive resources that are used in the that to aid in the production process. In other words, to convert inputs into outputs. For example, machines, buildings, stuff like that. So you can put in a thing there, right? Then you can say money, right? You can say money is not a productive resource. It does not help to convert inputs into outputs, but simply money aids or money helps you to get capital or money helps you to purchase capital. And you can give a final conclusion saying money is simply a medium of exchange, right? It's a medium of exchange, but it's not capital. So you can structure your answer that way. So maybe 2 marks for capital, 1 mark here, 1 mark for saying this. That's how you will get your marks. So always have a structure in mind, guys. Don't just write, don't just write uh right, just going on and on. Don't just write that, right? Yes, great. 12 syllabus. No, okay. Okay, about this class, we've only done 2 classes before. I'm going unit by unit past papers, right? So the first 2 classes we did all the MCQs for unit number 1, right, from 2015 to 2020, all the MCQs. This is the third class. We're doing all the essay questions now, right? So we started from 2015. Now we're in the 16 paper. So we'll do until 2021 all the essay questions. Then unit 1 is done, right? So once that is done, we'll move on to unit number 2. Yeah, that's the plan. Okay. Likewise, we'll do the syllabus. Right. Okay, that's also done. Okay. Okay, what is an entrepreneur? Why do entrepreneurs play a key role in the market economy, right? So, okay, what can you write here? Okay, so not what is an entrepreneur, ideally the question has to be who is an entrepreneur, right? So you can say, right, you can give a basic definition, right? An entrepreneur is someone who combines all for product, all other productive resources, and then, he produces goods and you give your normal definition that you have studied. Then this part, guys, why is he playing a key role? Here, guys, it's the basic functions, guys, that you have to explain, right? The functions of an entrepreneur. So what are the functions, guys? What are the functions of an entrepreneur? Functions of an entrepreneur. What can you write? Okay, so you can say that he introduces innovation. Okay, in right. So on entrepreneur, right? So now when this thing, guys, you can't just write small points, right? So you can say an entrepreneur is a person, right, who introduces innovations. So he comes up with new things to solve whatever market gaps that is there, right? And then, okay, he mobilizes the factors of production, right? So mobilizes in the sense he combines those, right? Mobilizes the factors of production. So you can say he is the one who combines all the factors of production, right? Factors of production. What else does he do? Making policy decisions, right? So an entrepreneur is the one who makes the main decisions of the business, right? Guide the business towards a particular direction. And then he bears risk, right? So mobilizes and organizes, you can put into, maybe you can put this in together. Yeah. So 4 proper points, guys. So ideally, I am guessing you will get your marks this way, right? So you might get 1 or 2 marks here, right? So for an entrepreneur, right now, it's like this, guys. Now, when you're writing your A-level paper, okay, you don't know, guys, how many marks are they going to give for this part, how many marks they're going to give for this part, right? So here you might get 1 or 2 marks. So if there is 1 mark for this, you will get 3 marks for this. Or else, if it's 2 marks for this, you will get only 2 marks for this. So how you write your answer think you're getting the higher mark. So for entrepreneur, you write for 2 marks, right? For what are the key roles, you write for 3 marks, right? So then no matter what happens, how they have given the marks, whether they've given 1 for this, 3 for this, or 2 and 2, you still get your full mark, right? So in your head, that has to come, guys. Okay, this is how they're going to give you the mark. That's how you score marks, guys. It's not about just writing what you know, no, right? Mm, okay, that's a nice definition. Good. A little bit of a complex definition. I don't know. I can't remember things like that, but if you can remember and you can memorize something, that's perfect. Okay. Right? So look into things like that, right? So always be strategic when answering it. You scoring more marks is not about you just knowing your unit. You have to be, but you need to be smart enough. You need to be a little cunning how to answer the questions also. That goes a long, long way. Yeah. Right. So that is about that question. And then, okay, this question I think I explained. Can I skip this? Protection of property rights. You all remember that I did this in an MCQ. I'll give the recording of the last 2 classes. Don't worry. Yes, remember the whole story of property rights? It was your class, right? I don't remember last class, right? I would have explained that in that house deed example, right? You all in a market economy, you don't have this, so there has to be proper property rights. Only if there is property rights, then they will produce. Otherwise, no one will produce. I remember that story. That is the story. That's the animative also. That is the story that you have to explain. So, guys, I'm skipping these guys. I'm not gonna go explain and explain and explain. So probably these recordings, I'll see what I can do. I usually don't give the recordings. One thing is when the moment I start give the recordings, guys, no one ends up coming to class, right? And that is the worst thing that you can ever do, because then you don't even watch the recording also, you don't even come to class also, right? But in your head you have, no, never mind, I can watch the recordings later, right? That is what you have in your head. So, but what happens? You don't come for class also, recording also you never watch. That's why I usually try to avoid giving it for this free class. But yeah, now even my normal theory class, you know the whole story for my people who come to the theory class. Others also, yeah. How many of you all actually came to the last days? How many of you all paid the fees? Around, I think, 55 to 60 people paid the fees. Around close to around 55 people were registered. How many were there in the actual live class? Not even 10 some days, no? So other 45 of you, where are you all watching recording? Since I give the recordings, I'm hoping that you all watch, but that also I monitor. Some of you have not even watched that time. Yeah. Some of you all, yes, I can see how many times you all have logged in, what time you all have watched, right? How many times you all have watched, where and where you all watch, right? So some of you all actually, yes, do watch. Some of you all, why you all paying the fees? If you're planning to, guys, if you're planning to watch this 3-4 months later, it's not going to happen, guys, right? Right? Unless you're doing it right now, it's not going to happen. It's just going to get busy and busy and busy. Okay. Right. That's also done. Okay. We'll go with question 2. Okay. Question 2. So now 2016 has been a paper that has 2 questions from unit number 1. Right. Nice. We'll see what I can do with the recording. Okay. So question 2 again is from unit number 1. Okay. What is a production possibility front tire, and list the assumptions you make when you draw a production possibility front tire? Guys, what is a PPC? What can you say? What can you say? How can you define a PPC? So you can say a PPC is what? What is a PPC? How are you going to define it? So what? Okay, it's a line drawn. Okay. So you can say PPC is a line drawn, right, to show the maximum sustainable output of 2 goods, right, that a country can produce using all of its resources. So it can show, it also shows the feasible combinations of 2 possible goods that an economy can produce. So you can say, okay, when utilizing all the economies, how much the maximum you can produce, right, that combination. Okay, so I'll copy and paste one answer for those who don't have one, right? So you can put in things like that. So when utilizing all your resources, right, the line drawn, what things, forget about the small typing errors in the little bit here and there, but that's what you can talk about, right? So then what are the assumptions, guys? Very easy thing. That's, I think, something most of you all know. Assumption of a PPC, only two goods. Okay. What else? Then technology is constant. Okay. Technology is constant is the assumption of everything. No, very nice. No, that's a nice assumption. No, for everything assumption, technology is constant. Everywhere. Okay. Technology is constant. What else? Okay. Resources are fully employed, right? Resource stock. Resources are fully employed. Okay. Then resources in terms of quality and quantity are constant, right? The quantity and the quality, the stock of resources and the quality of it is constant, or the productivity is constant, right? So drawn at a certain period of time. Yeah. So you can put in things like that. So ideally, how you will get your marks, I will say, is 2 marks for your definition, 2 marks for your assumptions, but you will have to give 4 assumptions, half a mark per assumption. The two goods, technology constant, resources are fully utilized, the stock of resources are constant in terms of both quality and quantity, right? Drawn a certain period of time. Yeah. So again, list. Don't go and explain, guys. Just write points. So ideally, your answer will be, let's say, a small paragraph of around 3-4 lines with what is a PPC, and then 4 to 5 points with the assumptions. That's all. Don't go and write pages and pages, right? Some people are there, no, I studied, so I know all of it, so don't go and write. That happens in A levels, it doesn't happen much, but in our university, it happens a lot, right? You study something and come, but then that what you have studied doesn't come in the paper, right? But you have studied that in vain. So what you do, you write everything. That's what people do, right? That's why there's school homework. Question is something else, right? But you write everything else that you studied from another unit because you have studied in vain. Yeah, don't be that fool. Assumptions, guys. Again, only two goods are produced. Technology is constant. Resources are fully utilized. The stock of resources and the quality of it is constant. The PPC is drawn at a certain period of time. Yeah, think that. Okay. Okay. So then, okay. Okay, what causes the production possibility curve to shift outward? What causes the production possibility curve? The main two reasons, guys. What happens when there is an increase in MCQ targets? Okay, when there is an increase in the resource stock. Okay, okay, you can say increase in the stock of resources or the factor endowment. Okay, stock of resources, or when there is an increase in the productivity. So can you all give me examples? Increase in stock of resources, discovery of new land, discovery of new land or new resources. What else? Inward migration. Okay, people have come to the country. Okay, inflow of foreign aids. Yeah, did you see these days? We are getting a lot of foreign aids, but very small amounts though. Yeah, not hiring of more workers. Because hiring means you already have. Yeah. So how is the productivity increasing? Like you said, yes, improvements in technology. In technology, development in the human capital. This World Bank also gave some amount. I can't remember exactly. Yes, 500 million of human capital through, you can say, training and different things. Yeah. So better management is so likewise. Maybe if you give things like that, guys, it's more than so it's only 2 points. So you don't have to go and explain, and you don't have to do all of that nonsense, right? So if you directly put the main reason, and under that, if you give 1 or 2 sub reasons, I think it's more than enough. So your examiner clearly knows. Don't only give the sub reasons, because sometimes maybe they will give you marks, but that doesn't create a very good impression, guys. Examining this fellow just knows the examples only. Yeah. So you say, okay, main 2 reasons are this, and this. So under this, you can have these things. Under this, you can have these. Those are the reasons that will cause the PP to shift outward. The same thing, guys. If it's inward, it will be the opposite of this, right? So okay. Now, okay. Then question 2, 3. What does increasing opportunity cost mean? What are the implications of this concept? for the shape of the PPC. What is increasing opportunity cost? What is increasing opportunity? Increasing opportunity cost means when increasing the production, right, of one good by an equal quantity, by an equal amount, what happens? The amount of the other good foregone keeps on increasing. What is this nonsense? When you are this thing, right? Let's say you have good X and good Y, right? So let's say whenever you are increasing X, right, by, sorry, yeah, X, Y by equal quantity, let's say, okay? So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So whenever you're going to increase Y by equal quantity, when you increase the production of 1 by an equal amount. So when you increase this by 1, let's say first you have to give up only this much of Y. Then when you go and increase another one by another equal quantity, now you have to give up a little bit more, right? Then when you go and increase the production of this again by an equal quantity, now you have to give up even more, right? So when you go and produce more, you have to give up even more. So my diagram might be not the most accurate diagram, but that's the whole context of it, right? Guys, I'm not going into very basic, right? You all are not babies now learning this concept the first time. So I'm not going into very basics of what these are, right? So I'm just refreshing your knowledge. It's again a past paper class, not a basic theory class, right? So what is increasing opportunity cost? You say, right? When increasing the production of one good by an equal quantity, this thing. So you can also give reasons for this. Why does this happen? Right? Because of, non-homogeneous resources, productivity from one industry to another are different, right? Technology is different, right? Give some things. And then what can you say? So as a result of this, as a result of increasing opportunity cost, what can you say about the shape of the PPC? This PPC will be a concave PPC. It will be concave to the origin, right? So it will be something like this. Right? So you can draw that also and you can show, guys. Right? So then the examiner knows, okay, look here, he knows this thing. And you can also show in the diagram when you're increasing the production of this, you have to increase more and more, you have to give up more and more of the other good. So then your explanation is clear. The examiner knows what you're talking about, right? So when you are increasing the production of one good by the equal amount, that is, if you're increasing Y by an equal amount, sorry, X by an equal amount, the amount of Y that you have to give up, keeps on increasing. Put some numbers, guys. These are direct things that are there in your tutes, guys, right? So put that and explain, right? So then your examiner also knows, this fellow knows this concept. They can't cut marks then, right? They will give you the full. That's a simple question there. Okay. Then moving on to this. Okay. Question 4. Draw a production possibility frontier with increasing opportunity cost for paddy and textile. Now, guys, now when they have given you the two goods, right? Don't go and draw X and Y, okay? They have told you, producing paddy and textile. For God's sake, I have seen when they have given you the two goods, also people go and put capital and consumer. They put X and Y. Can't, right? Doesn't work that way. If they have not given, then you can assume and put. But if they have given, guys, be very careful to put what they have given you, right? Okay, so then, okay, so you have paddy and textile. Okay, let's say this is paddy. Let's say this is textile. You have the PPC, right? First one, a new and better fertilizer is invented. Yes, what will happen? What will happen to the PPC? There's fertilizer invented. Yes, don't say B and T. I'm writing short form. You write the full thing. Exactly. When new fertilizer invented, guys, will this shift to the right? Yes. Is this correct? Now you can produce more. No? Yes or no? Wrong, right? Will the fertilizer go and affect the textile industry, guys? No, fertilizer only affects the paddy industry. So how will your PPC shift, guys? It should shift like this. Yeah, only paddy can be produced more, right? Not the textiles. You can't produce more textiles. You can only produce more paddy. So you do this, right? So ideally, guys, now you see you get 1.5 marks for this, no, right? So 1 mark for the PPC, half a mark for the explanation. Say that, when there is better fertilizer, it will improve the productivity of the paddy industry. As a result, more paddy can be produced. That's all. Yeah. Okay. Then we go to part B. Surge in the quantity of labor which can be employed in both sectors. What would happen? You have paddy, you have surge in the quantity of labor that can be employed in both sectors. Surge means an increase. What do you think happens? It will grow, guys. Will it be is it a point movement or is it a shift? This is curves can be the opposite way, guys. No problem. You can have paddy and textile other way. There is ideally a shift, guys, here, right? So what happens here is, yeah, it's a surge, no? Increase in the quantity of labor which can be employed. Now, for example, maybe the labor force in the country has increased, right? So maybe a lot of graduates are now in the labor force. So the resources are actually increasing, guys, right? So you can show it by a shift in the PP. Guys, can someone check the marking scheme also? They're showing a shift, right? Just check. I haven't gone through that in a long time. Marking shift, no? Yeah, okay, right? So surge there means an increase, right? So an increase in labor. So maybe the labor force has gone up. So as a result, people will shift more resources now. Then this one, a severe drought has resulted in a decrease in 10% decrease in usable farmland. What's going to happen? You have paddy, you have textile. What's going to happen? There's a drought. Now your paddy, you can't produce as much. Your resources for paddy is poorly. What will happen? Your curve will shift this way, right? It will shift inwards. But then now see, they have also told you a 10% decrease, guys. So what you can do, guys, you can show this with numbers. So you can say earlier, the maximum capacity of paddy is 100. Now, the maximum capacity of paddy is only 9. So you can show that 10%. That is a better answer, right? Rather than just shifting the PPC inwards, right? You put the numbers, right? 190 or 200 and 180, something that will show a 10% decrease. Yeah. So you say as a result, now we can only produce very less. Okay. And part D. New technology invented in the textile industry to reduce the cost of production. Easy one. So you have paddy, you have textile. So if there is new what? New technology, only the textile will increase. No, it's in the textile industry, guys, not in the paddy industry. It will shift like this. Yep. Okay. Because invented means paddy sector will not increase, it will not decrease, guys, it will increase. Invented to reduce the cost. Okay. So shift to the right. Yeah, ideally have an arrow also, guys. Usually have an arrow. Don't go without an arrow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm guessing that you all are also tired. Yes. We'll do this one and we'll stop. Yeah. Not easy, no? Okay. And this one, I don't think there is a big thing to talk about, which I have already talked about, guys. Right. So the next question is the difference between productive efficiency and allocative efficiency. So what is productive efficiency? Producing at the most optimum level, right? So producing at the least method of what? Least cost method, or the least most effective way, right? Open using full employment and full production. So you can also explain. You can explain what is full production, full employment. Then you have productive efficiency. Yeah, exactly. Maximum output, the minimum input. Okay. And then you talk about allocative. That is about producing what the society actually wants, right? That is achieved when you achieve the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. Now, again, here, guys, now, even though they talk about this, you don't draw tables, right? So for 2 marks, you talk about what is simply define and explain, guys, right? 2 marks talk about what is productive efficiency. Then you say productive efficiency is any point on the PPC, right? And then talk about allocative efficiency, condition, and all of it, right? Say that is only 1 point, and you can end your answer say for economic efficiency, you need both productive efficiency and allocative efficiency. So you can put in something like that and end your answer. Shape, yes, fine. That's again a basic question, guys. Nothing hard at all. So that is basically it with those, right? Ideally, guys, on your end, can you all make sure that you all do the questions that come so we can go a bit more faster? 18, 19, we have around 4 more questions. Probably the next class I will be able to finish this off, right? Can you all try and write answers, guys? Whether it's right or wrong, that's a different story. I want you all to write because there is no point of a past paper class. You coming and looking at my face and listening and waiting, no point, right? That's not the point of it, right? The moment if I have say these same questions, right? These same questions, if I have typed it, and if I charge you 1,000 rupees for the class and you pay and come, then you would write. Yeah. So make sure that that is not the case, right? So make sure you sit and write. Given that it's free, that does not mean it's for you to just look and wait. Come and write. Now I don't have to send you the questions, guys. You all know the past paper questions. Come on, don't be babies now, right? You all know what the past paper questions are from unit number 1. You should be able to figure that out by now. If you can't, then that's a problem, right? So try it and come, right? Try it and come, and then we'll discuss. Then you would have better questions, right? Why is this that? Why is that that? Right? So do that and come. We'll look into it next week. I'm hoping the power cuts and all of it won't be very bad. Next Wednesday, do I have anything right now? No. Hopefully, yeah, we'll meet next Wednesday, and probably maybe the fast track also. We'll probably have a session within the week as well. So anyone has questions, guys, feel free to stay and clarify. If not, that's all. Thank you for coming. See you next week. Good night. See you. Bye.